Thank you.
Go.
Good afternoon, everybody. From the bottom end of the African continent, I, along with my colleague Siar Buerta, are representatives of Atlas Africa, and I'm very delighted to welcome you all to our Atlas Africa webinar by our fourth year honours graduate students on a topic that they will share with you shortly. It is our really great honour and privilege to have Professor Corné Dijksman, who is the president of Atlas, to open the session for us and to welcome everybody. Professor Dijksman, thank you so much for being here. We do appreciate it.
Okay, thanks a lot, Karen. Yeah, as the president of Atlas, who is co-organizing and supporting this event, thanks a lot for giving me the opportunity to join and welcome the students to this Atlas Africa Honors Student Webinar 24. And we are glad that for the fifth time, the University of Pretoria is organizing this program and this webinar, which is part of the program, of course. And as you maybe know, Atlas is the Global Association for Tourism and Leisure Education. And the association is also represented at regional levels by sections on all continents. And this webinar is specifically organized with the support of the Atlas Africa chapter and the university, of course. And the objectives of Atlas are to promote teaching and research of tourism, leisure, and related subjects, and to promote the links between institutes in these fields and to make connections in relation to educational topics and the professional recognition of courses. Today we are proud to have this Atlas Africa webinar with the theme of More Than Just a Tour. It's a great example, I think, of how the University of Pretoria prepares the students for a dynamic and impactful future in the tourism industry. And the whole process and the whole program is more than just a showcase. It's a hands-on learning experience, a journey where you learn to transform theory into practice. And as students this year, you have developed not only, I would say, the more hard and technical skills like finance, marketing, events planning and management, but also essential soft skills such as communication, teamwork, and problem solving. And these are really the tools that will carry you into the professional world to innovate and support the dynamic sector we are in. Because as we all know, the tourism industry demands more than just knowledge. It calls for adaptability, creativity, and an understanding of diversity of cultures and markets. And by engaging in research, developing all kinds of expertise and acquiring guiding skills as well, you are fully prepared to not only meet the demands, but also co-shape the future of the sector. So today's webinar embodies the spirit of experiential learning, and it's a testament of your hard work and all your efforts. So on behalf of Atlas, may I wish you all a good and fruitful webinar, fresh insights and new knowledge as takeaways. Thank you, hope to stay in contact, and now I give back the word back to you, Professor Karen Harris. Thank you.
Thank you so much for those wonderful words, Professor Corné Dijksman. You have encapsulated what our students do and what we set out to do. So we're very grateful. And thank you again for your time. I'm now, without further ado, going to hand over to the experts, my fourth year honours group doing heritage and cultural tourism at the University of Pretoria. And I hand over first to our first speaker, Ms. Ngai, who will take us through the opening and the outlay of the presentation.
All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. My name is Mzingaya Sabano, and as been said before, I am from UP Campus Tours. We're very excited to come here because we know this is our fifth time coming and presenting at Atlas, and we're quite grateful for it. And we certainly hope to come back for years and years and years to come. So our theme is titled More Than Just a Tour. So I don't want to give too much away. I'll just want to give it over to my friend Kagiso over here and colleague as he dives in a little bit more into what More Than Just a Tour is all about. Thank you so much.
Greetings to everyone joining us live for this presentation. My name is Kagiso Mello, and as my colleague Mzingai mentioned, our topic is More Than Just a Tour, and the structure of our presentation will unfold as follows. The first discussion point will focus on University of Pretoria campus tours on the basis of its functions and characteristics. And moving on from that, the discussion will look at the tourism impact on a global landscape. That is the interaction between COVID-19 and tourism. And from that, we will discuss the wicked problems that we have identified from that and offer some interventions that could be applied. Where are we? We are located in the continent of Africa, precisely in Southern Africa, at the province of Gauteng. The building that you see over there, it's where we are on the 18th floor. And if you'd like to pay us a visit, that's where you'll find us. Now, I'd like to introduce my colleagues based on their roles that they do in the University of Pretoria campus doors. So at the Department of Finances, we have Heika and Louisa. And at Office Administration and Management, we have Veronique and Mzingai. At Human Resources, we have Angelique. At Events, we have Tiane and Charmaine. At Public Relations and Communications, we have Anamar and myself over there. At Social Media and Marketing, we have Sadzani, Guguletu, and Promise. Now I'd like to hand over to my colleague Heika, who's going to talk about the University of Pretoria campus tours, its characteristics and origins. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful day. I'm Heika Retief, and I'll be talking about the discipline of tourism or the tourism in the discipline field, especially of UP campus tours. So I'm just going to start off by saying when the degree started and all of those things. So the Heritage and Cultural Tourism degree started in 1998, and in 2003 we established UP Campus Tours. So that was just to give a bit more of information for prospective students. They can come and have a tour on campus. So in a bit about the background for the University of Pretoria campus tours, we do a lot of things with the archives, UP archives, and we do a lot of research. So as you can see, we have that little picture at the bottom left corner. So that was an archives exhibition we did with the archives throughout the 30 years in the University of Pretoria. And then at the top left, you can see the Mapungubwe Gold, and then the right, you can see the old arts building, and then just a little snippet of the university when the foundation stone was laid. So in terms of the business for UP Campus Tours, we can say that we are 12 students and all of us partake in the business itself throughout the portfolios like Kagiso mentioned. All of us have our roles that we play throughout the year just in order to make this business run as fluid as possible. So within the University of Pretoria, we also have live projects that comes in with the UP Archives exhibition we did. So just to give a bit more of background for live projects, we can say it enhanced the learning experience by bridging the gap between classroom learning and industry requirements. Then, as you can see, we have our work integrated learning as well, where we do our tours, as well as a lot of other things. So just a bit more about work integrated learning as well. It's the process of placing a student in a work environment that integrates their knowledge, skills within the workplace scenarios. So at the beginning of the year, I would have never thought that we would actually work within a business itself. And this year has taught us how a business works. And that is a great aspect to have when you are doing your honors degree. So, of course, we are doing the honors degree, so it's a one-year degree. So, work integrated learning, live project, and then just a bit more about the degree itself. It's a national degree, so National Department of Tourism recognizes our degrees, three-year degree, undergraduate, and then when you do your honors, you go on for another year, which we are doing now. So that's just our UPCT, a little bit more about that. And then I want to go on to this logo, which is 21 years of UPCT, more than just a tour. So for each and every one of us at UPCT, we can say that it is more than just a tour. It has taught us so much about everything this year, and it's just wonderful. So I'm just going to give over to my colleague Tiane, and she'll tell a bit more about her stuff.
Okay, thank you so much, Heike. Yes, my name is Tiana Brandmiller, and I'm going to be talking about UP Campus Tours more than just a tour, at more of a personal perspective. So I'm going to be talking about my personal experience and how UPCT Campus Tours has influenced me. Okay, so in my personal view, I think UP Campus Tours is the coming together of dynamic and a diverse group of people, and I think that we are like-minded people with like-minded goals and passions because we all came together in this heritage and cultural tourism degree. And we say in this department that this degree, we don't choose this degree, but this degree chooses us. Before I came into this degree, my undergrad, I was an education student that did English and psychology. I found myself lacking passion in those degrees, but when I finally decided to do tourism, I fell in love with that subject. I fell in love with that subject to the point where I wanted to do my honors in this degree. And I was so grateful when I got in, but I didn't know what was in store for me. So I ended up taking every day of this year in stride. And I was so grateful for the people around me because we ended up becoming really, really good friends and almost like a family. Because yes, UP Campus Tours is not just a tour, it is actually the connections that you make along the way. The connections of the people that we meet, yes, within the UP Campus Tours, but also the lecturers that you make that guide you every single day. Our head of department, Karen Harris, who you met, is a very big influence and also an inspiration to all of us in our department. And also the people that we meet on our tours, those connections are big inspirations to all of us. My personal favorite tour that I take is the prospective student tours, which are specifically catered for those in their last year of high school and their first step onto their university career. And we get to take that first step with them. So what university they're interested in. Well, that's the point. We take them around the university, around the faculties that they're interested in, and it's very personalized type of tour. And it's my favorite because I get to learn the most about our clients, the most about our tourists, the most about the students. I get to learn about them, their interests, their faculties that they're interested in, and I get to take them on a tour specifically about those interests. And I get to take that first step into their university career with them and their families. And I get to watch them bond not only with the university, but I get to watch them bond with their families as they take that step, that very first step. So we get to make a difference, not just as university students, but we get to make a difference to high school students and another high school student and another high school student. But the university doesn't, and the UPCT doesn't just make a difference within those high school students, but it also made a difference to me and to my colleague who I'll be handing over to now, Charmaine.
Good day, everyone. My name is Charmaine Mahale. So I'm just going to be reflecting on my journey as a UP campus tour student from when I first started until now. So when I first started my journey, I was someone that was not used to public speaking and also interacting with strangers. And that actually brought quite a challenge to me because part of being a tourist guide is actually meeting people from different walks of life and engage with those people and also give them a memorable tour as well. So, however, like when I did like more tours, I actually found out that I became confident and also my communication skills also improved. So this was through gaining meaningful connections with the people that I meet on tours, and also recognizing that as much as I'm an information giver, I'm also an information receiver by allowing people to share their personal experiences with me and their insights as well, and also learning from them as well. So the pictures that you see here are some of the tours that I've done with prospective students. And with this particular tour, it's a museum tour that I took with the internal staff of the university and students as well. And I also share the same sentiments with Tia. Prospective students are my favorite because I relate to those students because I've been in the same position as them. And also it feels good to be in the forefront or like just the face of the university and assuring the students that their future is in the right hands as well. So this was after a day of a successful tour. This was a successful tour as well with prospective students. And honestly, this journey has been eye-opening and also it has been transformative. And I like to believe that I speak for my colleagues as well to say that the UP Campus Tours has actually instilled a seed in all of us, not just in me, but I believe that we have grown individually as well to be professionals that are going to contribute positively towards the tourism industry and beyond as well. So I'm just going to hand over to my colleague, Promise. Thank you.
All right. Greetings, everyone. My name is Promise Madonsela, and on today's presentation, I'll be talking about COVID-19. Okay, so when COVID-19 struck, it brought the whole world to an abrupt halt. Tourism was one of the industries that was affected the hardest, right? So we saw borders being closed, flights being grounded, as well as the busiest attractions that was filled with tourists becoming eerily silent. Now, the statistics were also staggering. Global tourism was also at its peak at 74% in international arrivals in 2020, and this is compared to previous years. Millions of jobs were lost, as well as economies that were entirely dependent on the tourism sector collapsed. Now, let's look at the impact on tourist guiding. So, guides lost their lives overnight as group tours, as well as excursion and cultural exchange, were completely cancelled. Now, this wasn't only an issue for the tourist guides alone, but it had a ripple effect that spread across the tourism domain. Hotels were forced to shut down, as well as airlines first facing airlines struggling to stay afloat, with local businesses that were struggling in terms of revenue as their business was solely dependent on the tourist spending. Now, COVID-19 also forced us to face the vulnerabilities that we often ignore. It also revealed how fragile our global system is. In this uncertain and paralyzed world, the tourism sector was left with one question, which is what now? Now, COVID-19 wasn't just only a disaster, but it was also a wake-up call. Now, we couldn't go back to business as usual. Instead, we had to adapt to the new normal, and we did that through embracing what we call the R factor. Now, the R factor is meant to reassess what truly matters and finding innovative ways to recover. It also challenges us to reimagine tourism not only as a numbers driven industry, but as well as a space to create meaningful and responsible experiences. Now, COVID-19 also urges us to reposition tourism as more sustainable and resilient. COVID-19 wasn't a bounce back, but a bounce forward towards a stronger foundation as well as smarter strategies. Now, the pandemic, as bad as it was an opportunity for us to actually to move towards transformation of change. Now, I'm going to hand over to my colleague Kagiso. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Promise. Now we are going to look at the wicked problems post-pandemic that we've identified for this presentation. So the first one is artificial intelligence. The second one is over-tourism. The third one is cultural erosion. The fourth one is environmental disruptions. And the fifth one is exclusivity. Now we are going to look at our first wicked problem, which is the negative impacts of artificial intelligence on tourist guiding. First, I'd like to give a brief description of what artificial intelligence is. So artificial intelligence is the description of, is the replication of human intelligence by computer systems. More recently, we've saw that tourism businesses adopting artificial intelligence by products such as large language models, augmented and virtual reality devices or tools. However, in the context of tourist guiding, these machines poses many challenges, and some of them are the first one that we've identified is job displacement or replacement, whereby tourist artificial intelligence by products such as virtual reality were giving tourist tours during the pandemic. By doing so, they are replacing the need for human tourist guides. Hence, it creates a problem between humans and these machines. Another challenge with artificial intelligence that we've identified is its lack of connection with humans. By that, through that, artificial intelligence byproducts cannot replicate the emotional and cultural nuances of human tourist guide. Hence, they cannot replicate what human tourist guides can do. So through that, it's a challenge for with tourism. And furthermore, we can also question the information that these machines are providing to us, because these machines rely on algorithms as well as the information that they are programmed with. Due to that, they may offer people or tourists on a tour an inaccurate description of a destination. Hence, those are some of the challenges with artificial intelligence on tourist guiding. And now I'd like to leave you guys with a question that you can reflect upon when thinking or contemplating the impacts of artificial intelligence on tourist guiding. So the question is, can artificial intelligence byproducts thoroughly replicate the characteristics and traits of human tourist guides? I hope my colleague Sazani over here is going to offer an alternative viewpoint to the subtopic or some solutions to the challenge. Thank you.
All right. So, my name is Sazana Wakawa. So, I'm going to talk about the positive of AI. So, the tourism industry or businesses are using AI to make bookings, reservations, and to help tourists to make itineraries easy. So, they're leveraging AI. The travel sector can predict travel preferences, offer personalized solutions, enhance customer service, and simplify in-trip and post-trip management. So during COVID-19, the University of Pretoria campus tours used Zoom to conduct and give tours. During 2020, the University of Pretoria developed a 360 virtual campus tour. So as you can see here, this is a glimpse of what is a 360 virtual campus tour. So the tour encompasses of all the faculties, all the student residents, academic facilities, student support facilities, as well as the historical buildings within the campus. All right. So although AI has its benefits and advantages, it is very crucial that we acknowledge that it only serves as a supplement to human interaction and not as a substitute. So by recognizing and valuing both strengths of humans and AI, we can forge a future where technology enriches our lives. And after enriching our lives, and then we will then be able to recognize the invaluable human interaction. All right. So if we're not careful about AI, we can have the problem like the Terminator, and of which we don't want in the future. Right. So as I mentioned before, that in the University of Pretoria, we also offer 360 virtual campus tours. However, if a tourist chooses the 360 tour, and then will just be a tour. But if they choose a human a UPCT guided tour, then it will be more than a tour because they will get a personalized experience as well as customizing their tour even during the tour. As you can see, we also give school tour. So these learners come from different backgrounds. Some have reticent temperaments, some are set for whatever reason we don't know. Some their parents they want to give them money for McDonald's or iPhone. But when they get to the UPCT campus, when we give them a friendly and warmly welcome and a beautiful smiles, and then they will try to be out of themselves, of the shells, rather. Sorry. As my colleague Tieni mentioned, that the UP campus is more than a tour because of we are now a family. We come from different backgrounds. This is literally where diversity meets unity. We are united, and the human interaction is very imperative, of which AI cannot replicate. Now I'll give to my colleague Shami. Thank you.
Okay, good day once again. So we met on a lighter note. Now I come back as a person of a bearer of bad news. So I'm going to be speaking about the dark side of over tourism. So before I get into that, I'd like to emphasize tourism as a broader notion. So tourism is a force that has been used to improve the lives of communities through the provision of jobs, and also it provides improvements of infrastructure for locals as well. However, if it is not managed properly, it could lead to over tourism. That's why I think of tourism as a double-edged sword, because with the advantages that it comes with, there are disadvantages. So over tourism is not a notion that is new. It has always been there. However, it can be said that through the increasing use of destination marketing organizations, it has actually hit the sky. This is because destination marketing organizations, they tend to use aggressive marketing strategies, and also they also put pressure on well-known attractions to attract more tourists. And when that happens, it leads to an influx of tourists into the area, which can create local disturbances for the people that live there. So this could be through noise congestion and also traffic as well. And the other factor could be inflation as well, because the surrounding businesses, they tend to take advantage of the number of tourists that are available in the area, and then they tend to increase the prices of their products and services, which in turn the locals have to pay more prices than what they are accustomed to. So this actually leads to resentment, and also the locals to have a sense of feeling that tourism does not bring any positive impact in their community, but negative impacts. So this is where it actually leads to hostility as well, where you get I mean, like from the example from Barcelona, you get protests from the locals telling tourists to go home because they feel as though their spaces is being invaded, rather than tourists bringing in money. And another case study that we can use, it's the Great Wall of China, because it is one attraction that has actually attracted quite a large number of tourists. However, it can be said that there is failure to manage the maximum number of people that are going in there, and as a result, the attraction is slowly eroding, and yeah, it's bringing a challenge to the attraction, which brings the question that what's going to happen to our heritage sites when they slowly go away, because these are like the attractions that the future generations the future generation also deserves to explore and also learn about. And while speaking of eroding, we cannot ignore the damage or like the impacts that over tourism has on infrastructure as well. And as a result, it might lead to taxes. And these taxes are usually paid by the local people rather than like tourists themselves, which actually creates more tension between the local residents and tourists themselves. So I'm gonna hand over to my colleague Mzi, who's gonna further elaborate how the UP campus tours mitigates challenges of over tourism in a micro level.
All right. Thank you so much, Charmaine. So I like to think of UP campus tours as an octopus because variety is the spice of life. So we do offer various types of tours such as school tours, garden tours, prospective student tours, scavenger tours, general tours, and museum tours, right? So by doing this, we actually are able to create different experiences by the types of tours that we give, such as big tours, private tours, museum tours, as well as school tours as well. So by doing this, what we have created is different places on campus that people can visit. So picture this. We have 500 children coming to this campus. Obviously, it's going to disrupt the daily happenings on this campus, right? So what UP Campus Tours always does is we actually split them up, right? So we split them up into smaller groups and we take them all across different parts of campus in order to see so many other parts of campus that people normally wouldn't see, right? So how do we do this? Well, you take them to different buildings across campus, and by doing this, you create a streamline of different routes, right? So by doing this as well, so by doing this, we're actually able to show people many parts of campus that they normally wouldn't be able to see. So I'd now like to hand over to my colleague Louisa as she talks about cultural erosion.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Louisa, and the wicked problem that I will be discussing today is cultural erosion. Now, cultural erosion is a problem because it damages cultural preservation. Cultural erosion can be divided into two subcategories, namely the lack of authenticity and cultural misrepresentation and loss of indigenous identity. Now, I will firstly discuss lack of authenticity. This is a problem especially in developing countries where tourism is a main source of income. Cultural experience becomes polished in a sense because each culture is made up of more visible elements and less visible elements. Some of these have a greater tourism appeal and some have a lower tourism appeal. These with greater tourism appeal become overinflated and overemphasized. Now, then, the cultural experience becomes edited accordingly. Now, we are all human. What do we do when we see that an idea works? We capitalize on it. Thus, this brings me to my point of the cookie tin. These polished cultural experiences then become mass-produced, like a tin of cookies that you buy around Christmas. There are hundreds of thousands of them, and each of them are exactly alike. The same can be said for these polished tourism experiences. Luckily, we have had an increase of tourists who look for authenticity and who are dissatisfied when faced with inauthentic cultural experiences. This affects UP campus tours in the following way. If we fail to give an authentic tourism experience, like global tourists, our visitor numbers will also drop. This is especially important when we look at our prospective students who visit the campus to get a look at our real-time campus life and culture. We are not here for entertainment. We are not here as generic cookie tins. We are here to provide an authentic heritage and cultural tourism product, which is why we offer more than just a tour. We offer authenticity. My second speaking point, then, will be cultural misrepresentation and loss of indigenous identity. This is also a global phenomenon which is problematic. When we distort history, it disrespects the legacy that cultures leave behind. It contributes to loss of indigenous identity and cultural erosion. Now, indigenous identities are made up of, once again, more prominent and less prominent elements. By polishing out these less prominent elements, we chip away at the identity of someone in terms of an indigenous identity. So this affects UP campus tours again in the following way. When we give inauthentic and culturally distorted tours, we do damage to the university's heritage. Let's take an example. Let's say
An uneducated or inexperienced tour guide gives a tour of the Mapungubwe Gold Collection, which is housed on campus, and leaves out certain cultural elements. This disrespects the culture and it undermines the legacy that that culture has left behind for us. It also affects the university's credibility and it damages the educational value of our tours. Thus, in keeping with the theme, we give more than just a tour. We give the undistorted truth. Now, I'm certain you're all wondering why I put this slide here of Africa's wildlife. This is another example of cultural misrepresentation. There is a common stereotype that we have lions roaming around in the streets in South Africa. That, however, is not the case. So, it is a stereotype. Cultural misrepresentation can then be linked to stereotypes. However, on a lighter note, I will now hand over to my colleague, Gugu, who will tell you more about the positives.
A good afternoon to everyone. My name is Gugulethu Ndlovu, and I will be discussing how we bring authenticity to UP Campus Tours experiences, making us more than just a tour, but the facilitation of future tourism practitioners. Now, the question is, how do we bring authenticity to our experiences? One of the ways we've learned to do this is through creating authentic experiences through work integrated learning, where we have interacted with the university's archival spaces as well as the collected materials. Now, this is where UP Archives comes in as the custodian of institutional memory for the University of Pretoria. By collecting archived material, the body is able to preserve the university's history, which actually has information ranging from historical, heritage, cultural, and academic themes, which we then incorporate into our tours. Now, some of the archived materials that we've actually interacted with include those that have information on the foundation and commemoration of the university, office bearers, academic faculties and departments, professional and support services, publications, as well as photographs. Now, at the beginning of this year, we actually got an assessment where we had to interact with some of these materials so that we can be able to incorporate the information that we collected into our tours. Now, one of the case studies where we were able to do this is the Archive exhibition. At the beginning, I will pass over to Angie, who will talk about this disruption, and I will come back to talk a bit more on cultural erosion.
Thank you so much to my pristine and amazing colleague, Gugu, for all the hard work she put into this presentation today, highlighting some of the year's top prestigious activities we've done with the archives, some of the work we do in the museums, and everything the university holds in between our tours. As you can see there is our amazing Gugulethu on a tour, taking people on a knowledge journey of what our university means to us and the history it holds. Okay, now one of the biggest global impacts we're facing today is environmental disruption. So the loss of biodiversity and environmental impact. Tourism, while a vital driver of economic growth, comes with a steep price for the environment. Beneath its allure lies a significant toll it takes on wildlife and our ecosystems, especially an area where nature lives in delicate balance. From lush rainforests to pristine coral reefs, popular destinations often bear the burden of this industry's impact. Fragile ecosystems under threat. Tourism hotspots such as alpine regions, wetlands, mangroves, and coral reefs are celebrated for their natural beauty and ecological richness. Yet, these same qualities make them particularly vulnerable to human activity and incredibly sensitive. The construction of hotel, roads, airports disrupt wildlife habitats and degrade landscapes. Even seamless harmless activities such as snorkeling or hiking can have impact on these ecosystems. Over-tourism has a ripple effect. The environmental strain of tourism is most evident in resource-scarce environments. Excessive use of water for swimming pools and accommodation, combined with the waste generated by millions in this industry, exacerbates issues such as deforestation. Of course, the moment we expand and develop the industry, some sacrifices need to be made, and normally it's our natural environment that pays the price first. Wildlife disturbances and soil erosion. Something as simple as walking on the same path over and over again causes that soil to lose its quality. Now, the most important factor we are facing today is our global water crisis. Water scarcity is a growing concern in many tourist destinations. From overfilled pools to too long showers, tourism can drastically deplete local water supplies, often at the expense of nearby communities. The strain is particularly acute in areas already grappling with limited access to clean water. Without sustainable practices, tourism footprint can lead to irreversible damage, habitat loss, species decline, and landscape altered beyond repair. Yet, the good news is that embracing eco-conscious tourism can protect these treasures for generations to come. Preserving our planet's biodiversity and environment is just not one of the sustainability goals. It's an ethical imperative. By supporting eco-friendly travel options, adhering to conservation rules, and advocating for tourism policies and responsible tourism, we can help ensure the wonders of the natural world remain intact for generations to come. Together, we can strike a balance between exploration and preservation, ensuring that tourism enriches both the traveler's life and enriches our planet. Thank you so much. And now to one of the most extremely attractive parts of our university, our natural landscape, which Anna Mat will show.
All right, good morning, everyone. So I will be talking about how we emphasized on this problem and how we as UPCT have taken it and used to change it within our university. So you might ask the question about how UPCT has created solutions to combat these issues. Well, first of all, our university have implemented their initiatives to combat these issues. And the three main ones are waste management, water management, and environmental management. Now, we as UPCT have taken these three and incorporated them into our tour guiding. Right. Now, before we can do that, we ourselves had to learn about the beautiful biodiversity that we have on campus. So if you look at the first picture on the slide, you'll see here in the front, we have Jason, and there in the middle, we have Richard. And they are the two groundskeepers that keeps our university as beautiful as possible. And in the beginning of the year, we took a tour with them where they showed us the beautiful biodiversity of our campus, the wildlife, and the beautiful things that they've incorporated to keep it as clean and nice as possible. Okay, we then, as tour guides, took those information and incorporated into our tour guiding. When we give tours to students, international guests of all places, we emphasize that our university is beautiful and clean and that they should also take that into account. We keep it clean by not wasting anything, cleaning up the areas, and not, as Angie have said, with the erosion, keeping certain areas nice, do not walk over them constantly. And then for the water management, our university has incorporated a lot of sustainability initiatives to combat the too much use of water. On the right-hand side of the slide, you'll see a wetland, and then next to it is what we call a green wall. The university has taken the initiative to incorporate what they call rainwater harvesting to combat the too much use of water. We then also take this information and give it to within our tours so that people can understand that we as a university don't just come and learn, but we take the initiatives to keep our environment as clean and beautiful as possible. Okay, and then next you'll see this is a tour that we did for our diplomatic spouses walk. So in the video, you'll see what we call Future Africa, which is one of our newest campuses within the university. As you can see, they've incorporated what they also call rainwater harvesting in the same university, but it works a little bit different because it's used for the irrigation for their gardens. So their gardens are edible gardens that we told these diplomatic spouses about, where they take indigenous plants, use them within the university. We showed the diplomatic spouses all of the beautiful biodiversity that we have, and that a tour isn't just about learning about buildings and the history of a campus, but it's more than that. It's connecting to our environment that we as a university and as UPCT have taken strides to keep as beautiful as possible. I will now give to Tiane for our next wicked problem.
Okay, thank you so much, Anamar. So our next absolutely wicked problem is that the tourism industry can be seen as elitist and exclusive. So what does that mean for tourism? So exclusivity means that a group of people is being omitted from activities, and that means that they are not included. And what does elitism mean? Elitism means that a group of people are dominated in the field, which means that the group of people is dominating the field, and that means that they get included too much, if that makes any sense. So what does that mean for tourism? Well, certain communities are given less opportunities within the community, within the tourism industry. For example, because of socioeconomic reasons, meaning that they cannot afford the same resources and the same activities and the same opportunities that certain other people have. For example, many tourism organizations, hotels, and airlines have elite clubs that have elite packages and specialized activities that only specialized people can afford, and other people do not even have access to it because they do not have the funding to afford it. For example, the Delta Sky Club means that the people who can afford that elite club get to board the plane first, and everyone else has to wait 45 minutes to an hour just for those people to get onto the plane first. The people in this photo are people who get excluded, for example. People who are in the differently abled communities, people who are families, the youth, and the elderly people who use all of their finances for different reasons than traveling. So they cannot afford the same activities and packages that the people who are in the elite can. But another thing that, such as the disabled, is that our accessibility in the tourism is very much lacking as to what it should be. So accessibility in tourism is important to incorporate because there are over 1 billion differently abled people in the world with both invisible and visible disabilities. And therefore, it makes it very necessary to start incorporating more accessibility in tourism because it's a big part of our tourism industry, right? There are 3 different kinds of accessibilities which businesses need to start incorporating more, such as physical accessibility, digital accessibility, and communication accessibility. Now, physical accessibility is the one that people think of first, such as the mobility aids, etc., people in wheelchairs, the elderly needing mobility help, etc. And this is the one that people think of first because it's the most visually, people can see it first, right? But it's the one that people are lacking in the most because businesses are lacking in ramps. Tourist guides are lacking in helping people with mobility aids and helping with tours, etc., like that. So how are we going to combat that? Digital accessibility is our websites are a destination catering for hearing and visual impairments. So how is something as visible as a website going to help people with visual disabilities? So people can add voice notes. How do you make it so that people can hear what is being said on the website? Communication accessibility is the inclusivity of sign language and other languages of other countries and things like tours and things like just the businesses in general. How do you include sign language and other languages to your businesses? So this is just an example of how you can include accessibility to your businesses, but I'm going to hand over to my colleague Veronique, who is going to bring it into the tourist UP Campus Tours perspective. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tiane. Good afternoon to everybody watching from online. As Tiane mentioned, my name is Veronique, and I will be discussing the solutions to tourism exclusivity on a UPCT level. Here at UP Campus Tours, we are all about creating awareness around accessibility on our tours.
Our favorite is pointing out the yellow tactile tiles that surround our campus that are specifically designed to assist visually impaired individuals navigate their way on the more rough terrains of campus. The tiles are painted yellow to give persons with low vision the high color contrast they need to see objects easily. These are meant to alert persons with visual disabilities of approaching streets, hazardous surfaces, and gradient changes. We also like to show guests our guide out facility, which is located at our disability unit at the old chemistry building. One of our visitors were particularly impressed by the services offered by our disability unit, as he was in the process of transferring from another institution that was not supporting him properly. Our campus is also equipped with ramps so that visitors with wheelchairs can also enjoy access to the campus. As you can see, UP Campus Tours is all about including those often excluded. On our tours, we also like to make visitors aware of our multi-faith society on campus. We welcome visitors from all backgrounds, cultures, race, religion, and language. During our tours, we show visitors the various religious facilities located on campus, such as our prayer rooms, which are located on the 4th and 5th floors of the Information Technology Building, and our small campus chapel, which is located in front of the Centenary Building. Here, students can attend weekly mass worship evenings. Of course, the university also has its very own faculty of theology and religion. The wooden gates that you see in front of the building are actually the original gates of the university and can and never will be closed. The open gates serve as the university's mission to include everyone who was previously excluded on grounds of race, language, ideology, and gender, and serve as the university's vision of inclusivity. We are also all about promoting cultural exchange and awareness on our tours. For example, earlier this year, my colleagues and I had the privilege to take visitors from a non-profit organization called Abba's Pride on a tour of the campus. These were learners from underprivileged communities whom we hope to inspire by one day coming to study at an institution of their choice. By dividing the learners into small groups, each of us had the chance to inspire and uplift these young minds who were very eager to learn. This experience has helped us realize that what we're doing is not just taking visitors on a tour of the campus, but literally inspiring them to come and follow their dreams. We also had the opportunity to meet with a group of American students who came to us on a cultural exchange program. To help them feel welcome with us, we decided to share with them some South African traditions. The students got to enjoy a delicious meal of pap and borscht that was cooked up by one of our restaurants on campus, along with a small traditional milk tart, which both serve as popular South African dishes. We also made them play a game of South African slang, which was really fun. By coming to our campus, the students got to learn more about our ways of life and traditions, and thus could leave South Africa knowing a little bit more about our culture. I will now hand over to my colleague Mzingai, who will conclude the webinar for us.
All right. Thank you so much, Veronique, for that. So what happens now? With wicked problems comes wicked solutions, right? So what has artificial intelligence taught us? That you need to have a tourist guide, because if there's anything we can learn as people in this industry is you need a human connection. That's how people connect. That is how people relate. With over-tourism, we have learned how to minimize the impact of visitors on our university's environment. It has taught us to diversify our tours in order to create diversified, authentic experiences. Cultural erosion has taught us how to preserve the history of the university for students to come and visitors also coming, but most importantly, creating authentic experiences again. So I'm sure you can see we're very big on creating authentic experiences on this university. Environmental disruptions has taught us how to become the protectors of the environment and to care for what's around us, because without nature, how can one nurture? Exclusivity has given us this idea of all for one and one for all. It has made us conscientious and aware of all the different ideas and limitations that sometimes are visible, but sometimes they're not so visible as well. UP campus tours might be small, but whenever we come together, we're able to create all these various ideas that make a global impact. We are a microcosm to the bigger tourism domain. Now, you may ask yourself, who is the future of tourism? Well, the answer is quite simple. It's you, it's me, it's us. This is a concerted team effort. We have to come together in order to make a difference in this world, right? So, we have to face the facts though. Tourism has been in hot water recently. From over tourism, from hospitality, from people not wanting people to visit their destinations, it has become an issue all around the world. So everyone is trying to come up with these new and innovative ways to still visit these places, but in a more green way, right? However, there's also an idea or conscious that UPCT has made of that we also try and preserve the culture as well. So by the diversified tours, by making an effort to make sure that this campus is clean and sustainable, it also allows us to make these spaces for people to grow and learn, right? So UP Campus Tours is the heart of our degree. We give, but most importantly, we also learn. We learn from others, we learn from our ambassadors, we learn from our staff members, but also we learn from each other. This is genuinely one of the best groups I can arguably say in the last 21 years, even though I do know there are a few members on here who would disagree. But hey, it's been 21 years and we are the 21st team. So we get some bragging rights as well. Okay, so UP Campus Tours, people, planet, profit. That is the idea of so many businesses, right? These are the 3 P's that need to work together because you know what happens? When one crumbles, the other 2 crumble as well. However, UP Campus Tours has twisted that around. We said, take profit out of the narrative because why? We believe in prosperity, which is why initiatives like our pro bono tours also kind of give this outreach of way to kind of like, debunk this whole narrative that tourism is elitist. We too also give back. And as UP Campus Tours, we really do hope that, more people can also learn from this, that it's always good to give back, especially in an industry that boasts on job improvements, job hiring, and the bettering of communities all around as well. So with prosperity also comes a few success stories, right? So I'm quite honored to say we have so many UP Campus Tours alumni who have gone out into the world to actually make a difference. Some may have stayed internally, but they still continue to make this great difference as well. And of course, I cannot close up without paying homage to the group that came from last year because they taught us everything we know here. So I would like to invite all of my Campus Tours members to please come and join me in this frame. UP Campus Tours, we've been here for 21 years. We've learned, we've grown. However, UP Campus Tours does not exist without Professor Karen Harris because she taught us everything we know. So now, UPCT, U, unique, P, powerful, C, courageous, T, true. And who is that? Professor Harris. We thank you so much, and we do hope to see you in many years to come. Thank you so much. Bye. So if anyone has any questions, please fire away.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ngai. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mrs. C.R. Buerta. I'm also from the University of Pretoria in the Heritage and Cultural Tourism program. A bit of a tough act to follow, I must say, Ms. Ngai, but well done nevertheless. I would also like to thank the listeners online for your active participation in today's session, as this is indeed a session that will count towards these UPC team members' final grade for this specific module. In this specific context, I think let's start with 5 questions, and then we'll see how long that takes. So Ms. Ngai, let me start with you. I think the first one that came to the foreground for us is if you can perhaps expand a bit more on this family component within UP Campus Tours.
Okay, all right. So when we say family here, there's so many various ways of looking at it, right? So family from a business point of view, but also family from an emotional point of view. I think let me start off with the emotional aspect here. We have been in this degree for the entire year. We have seen each other at our best and we've seen each other at our worst. But also each and every single moment we've spent together has allowed us to grow and learn more about ourselves. And then obviously family as a business, we are still part of the University of Pretoria. We have so many people in the background, sometimes the unsung heroes, who have helped UP Campus Tours whenever we were in a pickle. They have provided us shelter when it was raining. They have provided us resources whenever we had impromptu tours, and they've been able to help us learn and grow throughout this entire year. So I believe that's why UP Campus Tours is a family.
Amazing. Yes, I think that notion of unity came across very well in the presentation. Okay, let's move on to the next question, perhaps. Veronique. Okay, the next question is, how important is teamwork within the UP Campus Tour structure, would you say?
Oh boy, on a scale 1 to 10, I would rate it 11. Teamwork is extremely important, especially on school tours when we get a lot of students coming to campus. We need to figure out a way to work together. Even though if we split the students up, there needs to be communication between us. Where are we meeting them? Where are we going to drop them off? That could change. Some of us might run late because sometimes the students have to go to the bathroom, and then there needs to be that communication, okay, group B, for example, they're stuck in the bathroom, so see everybody in 5 minutes, or things like that. And even throughout the whole year when we organize events, we had this whole quiz night thing, which DNA arranged for us. But we all had to jump in and help set up the whole thing, send out those invitations, handle the questions, for example, and group projects we had throughout the year with our modules. Some of our modules had group assignments, especially the EFA 7581, where we did a whole thing with Mama Lodi, where we created story maps, around some of the heritage site there, and we were all divided into groups. And, there just had to be this communication between us. And that's also why we did teamwork activities in order to build that. Because at the beginning, of course, not everybody knew one another. So we decided to, set something up and to help us learn more about each other, and just to get to know our strengths and weaknesses a bit, where one person maybe lets down, the other person can pick them up and so forth. And really just to play off of each other very well. So things like that. So I would definitely say that during this year, our teamwork had improved a lot, because at the beginning, we still were trying to figure out the whole team dynamic thing out. But I think we really pulled through and pulled it off, especially with today. And so, yeah, I'm really going to miss everybody. And it was just a wonderful year. I hope that answers your question. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, I could not agree more. Similar to how the tourism industry works, I think UP Campus Tours is all about collaboration and partnerships and actually functioning as a unit. Thank you very much, Veronique.
Okay.
Then to the next question, and Mart, I think this is a obvious one, but perhaps it also needs a bit of explaining. Would you recommend this work integrated learning in heritage and cultural tourism program in its entirety to listeners and prospective students that might be listening in?
I mean, definitely. It has its challenges and it's difficult, to balance everything. But it's one of the most enriching years I've ever had within my studies, and I've been studying for 5 years. And truly, the amount of work that we learn in a year is just you can't compare it, and you can't do it anywhere else. Especially to the fact that when you want to go into the work industry, you need experience. They often ask for you to have 3 years or experience or 1 year. So for you to get that internship or that job without, only studying and without the experience, it makes it a bit more difficult. And you have to kind of, from the ground up, start your way to get there. But with this, we kind of have that backbone of knowing what it takes, to run a business, how to work with people in that, environment, how to do the finances, the, arranging events and stuff like that. It truly equips you with the skills that you need to go out into the world and do these things a lot easier. So I would definitely recommend it to people who truly want to do this. It is a lot of work and it is hard, but it also teaches you about yourself and what you can do. So it's very enriching, and I would definitely give everyone, should do it. So yes, definitely.
Cool. Thank you very much. Yes, I think it this whole program that Professor Harris started and is still part of very much sets you up for what the industry entails. And it gives you that notion of you're walking out of university with more than just the degree, as they would say. But thank you very much for that, Anne Mart. Okay, then to the fourth question. Angie, your
Hi,
turn.
sir.
So the question is, how does it feel to be part of UP Campus Tour's legacy over the last 21 years? Did this year represent more than just a tour for you?
So just a thought with Minz and Guy's question about us being a family. As the very well-known Disney movie in Lilo and Stitch at the end, where he gets captured to be taken back, he says, "This is my family. I found them all on my own." I think that is basically the statement of the year. This degree you don't choose, it chooses you. And being part of a legacy, I mean, you know, it's hard to stand out in a world in an academic field where there are such great ones. We have Daniline, Almin, so many people of our own legacy that has meant so much and has gone out and done amazing and great things. Being part of something bigger than just a one-year module, a honors degree, it's incredible. Being part of something more, a family, a unity, I feel very special. I mean, as I've said over time and time again, it's not a simple choosing process where they choose the candidates to be part of this program. And even though that still riddles me with anxiety, after being on the other side, I still feel like, wow, you know, you get a lot of imposter syndrome through all the accomplishments you get in your life. And I still have it till this day. But having that moment of, the letters are on my back. There's nothing anybody can do to take it away from me. I did this work for a year. I have these 12 amazing people that walked this journey with me, which I will never forget. It means something more than just the academic level, more than just, you know, that 80% on your academic transcript. It's something I can remember forever. And honestly, I don't think you can compare it to any other honors degree at this university. So it's incredibly special to me.
Yes, I could not agree more. Thank you very much, Angie, for that reference-laced point of view. But like I said, I could not agree more. Very well done. And then finally, Gugu. Yes. Your question is, I think let's keep it straight and simple. Did you guys have fun this year doing all these activities, literally running around everywhere?
Definitely, yes. We had a lot of fun. Everyone here can say that they had so much fun. And even though, you know, we had our downsides, we were able to pick up ourselves and, you know, make sure that we enjoy while we try to complete this honors program, as well as be part of UP Campus Tours. And we really had fun. My favorite were honestly the museum tours. I absolutely loved those because they just showcase how we've been able to preserve history, and also just to go back to this whole thing of cultural erosion. I really had fun just interacting with the archival spaces that we have, from UP museums to UP Mapungubwe archives. It's really interesting to just have interaction with these things. And while we take people on tours, we get to talk to them on a one-on-one level. And that is actually something we can also just categorize as a fun moment. We got to know some people, and we even got to share contacts with some of them so that they can still be able to be in contact with us, and we can be able to also just tell them how it is to be a UP student and how fun and frustrating it can be as well. So definitely it has been a very fun journey.
Thank you very much for that. Yes, I could not agree more. I think the notion of building continuous networks within your tourism domain is central to everything we do and what the industry do, hence why the link is so amazing. Thank you very much for that, Gugu. And then finally, I will just perhaps hand back to Ms. Ngai to just say bye to the audience watching. Thank you very much.
Right. Thank you so much to everyone out there. It has been an absolute honor, and I'm quite honored and privileged to say that this concludes the 2024 Atlas webinar. Stay tuned for more UPCT to the world. Thank you.